nuclear war is a bad idea. But that's the world I currently live in, right? Now, to sort of make sense of all this, I think what we got to do is we got to turn to the man who actually has the nuclear football for the United States. We should turn to that right now, which, if you didn't catch this today, you're in for a treat. You're going to love this one. This is awesome. So the Justice Department literally ruled that Biden is too old and feeble, and so no charges are going to be laid against Biden despite willful mishandling of national security risk documents because he's too old and feeble.
To stand trial?
Don't bother charging him. He's too old and feeble. But,
he won't be there.
But he's got the nuclear football.
Oh, gosh.
Right? So,
yeah.
So this was the ruling. This just came out, Department of Justice. And so, Dear Attorney General Garland, says the assistant or the AG or whatever it was that said, enclosed, please find this confidential report. There's the link down there if you want to look at it. You can see that link. Anyway, Babylon Bee got on it right away, and they nail it every time. Man ruled too senile to stand trial, still fine to run country.
They always nail it.
But you know what? That headline wrote itself. That's literally what just happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally what just happened. Now. So this is something that I need to talk about because for all these years, it's been obvious that Joe is demented and senile and not fit for purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yet we have this whole machinery of the MSNBC, CNBC, all those people who are just saying all offended by that Tucker might actually go and just talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
They were so offended by that. These are the same people who've been running interference for the idea that Biden is fine. Oh, are you a psychologist? No, I'm just not an idiot. I mean, the guy tripped over a sandbag and he looked like a mannequin going down, So
I know.
So at any rate, so carrying on though, look at this. This is from page 207. So I did dig through it because I'm that kind of.
Mm-hmm.
That's my life.
That's what we. Yep. That's what we like about you.
Okay. So it said page 207. It says Mr. Biden's memory also appeared to have significant limitations, both at the time he spoke to Zwanitzer in 2017, as evidenced by the recorded conversations, and today, out here in 2023 or whenever they're looking into this, as evidenced by his recorded interview with our office. Biden's recorded conversations with Zwanitzer from 2017 are often painfully slow, with Mr. Biden struggling to remember events and straining at times to read and relay his own notebook entries. Excuse me? This is officially known by his handlers, by his wife, by everybody around him. If some person...
That's a while ago.
2017, that's way before the election, right? Basement Joe, hiding out there, campaigning from his basement, garnering 81 million votes, right? Mm-hmm. So they knew this. So this means we've been gaslit by this apparatus to such an extent that they said, you know what, we care so little for democracy and the overall process. We're literally going to put a man with cognitive deficits in the most powerful position in the country. Not tell you about it. Don't worry about it, though, because he won't actually be running anything. Those of us behind the scenes will be running this. I ask this question all the time. Deep political insiders, I ask them all the time, who is running the White House? Mm-hmm. And they all kind of shrug and they make some guesses, and they throw a bunch of names out. I've never had anybody who said for sure that they know.
Right.
So we're actually not even being led by Biden. Can we just ditch that conceit right away? We're being led by somebody, right? Mm-hmm. But those same somebodies are very offended that Tucker would go and talk to this man, right?
So what's the worst that could happen in their minds, you think? They don't want him talking to Tucker because I just don't understand what the big deal is.
Well, all I can think is that they just love being in control of the narrative all the time, right? And this is an opportunity for the narrative to get out of their control. And,
I see.
And it's Tucker, too, because they know him, right? He just says what he thinks. He asks any questions he wants. He lets people develop long-form answers. Did you see the interview he did with Brett Weinstein, episode 71, where Brett and I had just come back from
Panama.
from the Darien Gap with Michael Yon and Ann Vandersteel and Chuck and Matt and all those people, right? So that and so he just let Brett talk and develop these big long hypotheses and he just and because of that we get full context. So this is what they're afraid of, Evie. They hate people doing what we're doing right now, which is having long form conversations where we actually bring some receipts, bring some data, because they don't want that.
No.
They want us to have little tiny conversations where they fed us every piece of misinformation, malinformation, and disinformation, because that's just how they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
So anyway, so listen, look, the date 2017. He's too slow. He appeared to have limitations, you know. Of course, the internet's awesome. Somebody mocked up the Nevermind, the album cover. Thank you, internet, for the win.
That was a good album.
Yeah. So the concern, it says here, in a case where, this is also from that same document, in a case where the government must prove that Mr. Biden knew, listen to this is awesome.
All right.
Knew he had possession of the classified Afghanistan documents after the vice presidency and chose to keep those documents knowing he was violating the law. We expected at trial, well, his attorneys would emphasize these limitations in his recall. They're literally laying out like why they're not going to charge him, like, oh, because, you know, it was pretty clear. He just, you know, we have to prove that he knew he had these documents. But that's tough because, you know, it's pretty clear his recall sucked. So we couldn't prove that he knew.
He'd get too
and his attorneys would emphasize these limitations. So you know what they're afraid of? You know what they're afraid of, Evie?
What?
They're afraid of this. Your Honor, my client doesn't remember doing it, right?
It's crazy. You know, I saw a
They would just call Saul.
campaign. There was a campaign, sort of, what would you call it? One of those paid for by Joe Biden, blah, 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 commercial. And what was interesting was Obama was actually doing all the talking. Joe Biden wasn't saying, like, here we are, you know, here's Obama, and he plops in a few words. It's strictly Obama.
You think they're going that way? Are we going to get Michelle?
Michael? Oh,
you went there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't care. It's just disturbing to me. The dishonesty disturbs me deeply. That's what bothers me about this.
Me too. And it's the obvious. It's that. Can we please? It's so insulting that we have to pretend that none of us can see this emperor has no clothes or to bring in this case, right? All right.
I have some questions for you, unless you're finished talking about the actual interview.
You do? Well, let me just finish this because I got to get through this one piece on this gentleman with a nuclear football. So it says, in his interview with our office, Mr. Biden's memory was worse. He did not remember when he was vice president, forgetting on the first day of the interview when his term ended. If it was 2013, now when did I stop being vice president? This is 2017, right? And forgetting on the second day of the interview when his term began, right? In 2009, am I still vice president? He did not remember even within several years when his son Beau died. Couldn't place that.
Wow. That's like the other day when he was talking about, it was a general or somebody that had died like 25 years ago or something. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, no, exactly. So this is the man with nuclear football. Remember, I think we can capture this in a single word, the level of the deficit. Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Did I not grab?
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him...
I don't think it...
I can hear it.
No, it just didn't come through. Darn it. Oh, this one was so funny.
Where did you find this?
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him...
And I love how it ends with a do, 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 do. It's so stately.
I might have sent that to you.
So stately. So this is from that report. Like, this is where these things were stored. Now, remember, Trump was indicted for mishandling documents. Look at this. This is where they are. That's a box of top secret classified documents in his garage in Delaware, like circled in red. And then there's a closet back there, which just has a bunch of classified documents on a shelf in his garage.
Wow.
And here they are stacked up next to his desk. They had all these pictures, right? They brought all of this stuff, and then even CNN. So you can feel it, though. This is why I'm going here. I can feel it. They're getting ready to replace this guy. They could have done this. They could have thrown all of this down years ago, 2017 even. They didn't. Now listen to this. This is CNN. So take this for where it's coming from.
But I think there is also a potentially very damaging political headline that we really need to take a beat to talk about as well. And that is, simply put, that the president is an elderly man with a bad memory. If you look through the report, and I'm just...
Oh, right. Can you feel the wind?
Yeah.
Did that wind just quarter about on our sails?
It definitely did.
Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Yep.
He's not useful to them anymore, I guess.
It's coming. And by the way, just to round this out, so this is Google. If you look what I typed in, Biden inauguration. This is what they show you. See that? Look at all those pictures. There's Jill and Joe, and it's all these people, and there's stairs, and it looks interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
But remember, this is the man who can't seem to get our border. Like, how would we possibly secure our border? But do you remember this? I'm old enough to remember this. Inauguration, January 20th, 2021.
The razor wire, yes.
They got fences and razor wire up. They pulled in 20,000 guard troops. They kicked everybody out. That was our inauguration. If you didn't have the vibe of what was going to happen on that day, right? You remember this?
Ooh, that's a potent picture right
You
there.
remember this? This was it. So remember when Trump had his inauguration, there were like, I don't know, 1.5 million people there because they do it on the steps and it goes all the way up the reflecting pools, like this big thing, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know if many people have seen this, but this is really important. This is some journalist managed to sneak on a rooftop or was very far away, had a big lens, and took a video of the inauguration on that day.
There is no security threat down here.
Look at that. Look.
It's just a lie. And I think they brought in these 25,000 troops because Biden couldn't
300
get
people there?
Amount of
to his
people.
inauguration, and it's a cover. It's very sad.
I never saw this view before.
I was going to come on here and try to be funny, but I'm actually sad.
Should be.
This place is a ghost town.
Look
All
at
of
this.
DC is a ghost town.
know.
Their businesses have been
Usually, like,
pummeled
oh.
by these lockdowns and all these problems. And
So I have a question. If you did experience a coup, how would it look differently than those pictures I just showed? What would be different?
How would you know?
How would you know? That's the question.